This is an attempt to give you a closer view of the Peak stove. Notice the pump here with a small hole that you cover with your thumb, and this valve regulates the heat that the stove puts out. This will put out from a full boil to a simmer. Now we're ready to attempt to light the stove. Again, make sure your stove is on the ground. You pump the stove by unscrewing the valve on the pump. Place your thumb over the pump. Pump it until it becomes very resistive. You'll learn very quickly how much pressure to apply. Screw it back into place. This stove is incredibly easy to light, and that's one of the big advantages of this particular model of stove. There's a valve here on the side. It's marked. It's probably hard to see in the video, but it's marked high and low. So you simply turn it to the high position and listen for the gas to escape. And when you hear it escape, light it. That's it. That's all there is to it. It takes a moment or two for the flame to stabilize. If you can see it, there's a brass or copper tube that runs through the burner area. It's a capillary tube, and all the gas that goes to the burner comes through this tube. As the tube becomes hotter, it heats the fuel inside, and as the fuel becomes hotter, it ignites much quicker and hotter and burns better over time. After you've let it run and stabilize for a little bit, if you need to turn it down, just simply turn it down to a lower position. If you need it turned back up, turn it back up to a higher position. You want to turn it off? Turn it to off. Very, very simple to operate. Very little problems, very little maintenance. For scouts or people who are mechanically challenged, this is a very good model of stove to choose. The disadvantage of this particular model is I think it's a little bit bulkier than some of the newer models that have external fuel tanks, but there are some big advantages as well. So your choice. Allow the stove to cool completely before you put it away. If the flame goes out, simply go through the same process to relight it again. Just like the stoves that use an external fuel tank, it's probably a good idea to take the cap that contains the fuel in the tank after the stove is cooled down and simply crack the valve until you hear the gas escape. That relieves the pressure. Now the tank and stove can be safely stored in its stuff sack and go into your backpack for the next day's trek.